All right. So, let's see. I want to welcome everybody to the first time for RichBz, right? First time for RichBz, streaming on multiple platforms at the same time. All right. So, if you're on Twitch, right? If you're on Twitch, then I will say that I'm streaming live now on TikTok too, right? Live. If you're on TikTok, I'm streaming live right now on Twitch. All right. Yeah, so both of y'all know what's going on. All right. And if you're watching later on YouTube, know that we do stream live on both platforms. This is the first time we're streaming on both platforms, but um I I guess depending on how this goes, depends on whether I'm going to keep doing this. Okay. Because this is the first time. So who knows? We'll have to see. In me saying that, today I was asked a question in reference to um something during a men's meeting, okay? Because I do go to like men's meeting and things like that, where it's a bunch of guys and we talk about different things about our relationships. We talk about, being a better man. We talk about how to deal with issues with your kids and all of that kind of thing. Okay. So in that meeting, um, um, what was asked of me is that they said, you know what? You did a live before talking about only saying what you want, right? And I was like, did I? I mean, I think I did, but when I looked back through the history, I was like, hmm, maybe I didn't, right? Maybe I didn't. And so it kind of took me aback because I didn't know why I wouldn't have done that live, right? I don't know why I wouldn't have done it because that is something that I say all the time. Um, and today we're going to go into that. So give me 1 second. All right. So because this is live, I might be drinking. I might be, you know, I don't know. I might get some notifications or something. Who knows? But we'll see. All right. So let's get into it. This is what it is. So one thing I know about people, right? One thing I know about people is that people generally tend to know what they don't want. Okay. They know what they don't like. They know what they're not going to tolerate. They're like, you know what? Um, um, I don't like this. I don't like that. You know what I mean? Oh, you're not going to talk to me like this. You're not going to talk to me like that. This is what people say all the time, right? They say, you're not going to talk to me like this. You're not going to say that type of thing to me. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. I don't like that. I don't like the taste of that. I don't like the texture of that. I don't like this. I don't like that. This is what people say all the time, right? And what you know, or what you will realize is that almost everybody knows what they don't want. But if you just take a second and you ask somebody and you say, hey, well, what do you want? Right? If I asked you right now, what do you want? Matter of fact, tell me right now, what do you want? Put it in the chat. All right. If you're on Twitch, put it in the chat on Twitch. If you're on TikTok, put it in the comments on TikTok. Put in the comments right now what you want. Right? Do you even know? Do you even know? Because if you really think about it, and I think that's the problem, a lot of people don't think. A lot of people do not even know what they really want. A lot of people will say, hey, I know what I want when I see it, right? If you say, hey, do you want this? Like, okay, as a designer, as a developer, right? I talk to clients and clients might have their own business. Okay. And if they have their own business, what do they say? They say, okay, I need a website. I need a logo. I need a flyer. I need all of these things. Okay. This is what they say. And then whenever you press them, not press them, but when you ask them, okay, when you ask them and you say, hey, well, do you want it like this? Do you like these colors? Do you like that colors? What about this type of design? What are your thoughts on the design? What are your thoughts on, maybe a background? What are your thoughts on your website? In anything? They say, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, it's your company. It's not my company, right? It's not my business. My business is to create, or excuse me, the way I say it is interpret your vision into reality, right? So if I make you a logo, right? If you come to my company, Dynamic Works, you can go to dynamicworks.com. That's my company. If you go to my company and you go to get a logo, here's what what you will be asked is several different questions in reference to what your preferences are, right? Because if I understand what your preferences are, then I can also create a design or something utilizing the things that you like or the things that would like to see. The problem is that a lot of people don't know what they want to see. They don't know what they like. They don't know what colors they like. They don't know, like, they might like blues and greens. Okay. You like blues and greens. Cool. We can make that into a logo, right? Somehow. Now, will that fit right if you use those against each other on a website? Maybe not. These are things you have to think about, right? I don't want to go down that road right now. Okay. We'll get back there. But if I'm giving you a questionnaire in reference to what you want to see for your logo, your branding, your website, your whatever, then you have to know what you want, right? The thing with this, and the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying in here today, is because I'm trying to get you guys to understand that you have to be able to convey what you want in life. If you only know what you don't want, what happens is you start to continue to get the same thing that you don't want. Why? Why are you getting the same thing that you don't want? You're getting that because that's what you keep saying. Okay. I guess, is this making sense? I know we're early in on this stream, but is it making sense? Because if you keep saying the things that you don't want, that's what you're going to get. When you realize that the only thing you get in this life is the things that you say, it makes you want to change your words, right? Let's go to boyfriend girlfriend, right? Boyfriend girlfriend, and you say, oh, I really want a man, I really want a woman, and I really want that woman to be, no. What you say is, I don't want a man that's gonna play me. I don't want a woman that's gonna, not be loyal. I don't want a woman that's gonna um um run the streets. I don't want a woman that's in the clubs, right? These are things that you say. The problem with that is you're still saying something, and the world, the universe, God doesn't understand no, right? Doesn't understand no. The negative form of a word, it doesn't understand that. So if you're going to say something, you have to change your language. The language that you have to use now has to change from being the negative form to the positive form, or the form without the negative, because you're going to get what you say. But that will require you to think about what you actually want. There comes the hard part, right? It's the hard part because, like I said, a lot of people don't know what they want. So if you don't know what you want, then how can you say it, right? We have to get into a habit of saying the things that we want. We have to get into a habit of, anytime that your brain starts thinking, it's only thinking about what it wants, not what it doesn't want. Now, doing that is not uh, um, an exercise of being selfish, right? Like that's not selfish. That's not self-centered. No, that's you knowing what you want and what you want to experience in your life, right? Because if this is your first time on my channel, right? If this is the first time that you've ever experienced a live from RichBz, welcome. I'll say that. Welcome first, okay? And the reason why I'm gonna say welcome is because my name is RichBz. My channel on Twitch is The Real RichBz, right? My channel on YouTube is The Real RichBz, right? On TikTok, The Real RichBz, okay? And so I named it that because at all times, I try to be as real as possible when I'm on these live streams, okay? And I'm trying to be as real as possible because I want to be and I want to help you become your best version of yourself. I don't want you to be what I am. If you turn out to be what I am, that's on you. But I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is to give you enough information to make you make your own decision on how you want to become, who you want to become, right? What is your best life? I can't tell you what your best life is. All I can do is give principles, right? It's on you to take them or not. It's on you to use them or not on me, right? It is on me to deliver information that I know can help others, right? Because some of this information, not some of it, anything. If you go to my channel on YouTube, that's where I archive all my videos. If you go on my YouTube, The Real RichBz, you'll see at least what, somewhere around 60 videos, right? 60 long form video. It might be like 51, 52, somewhere in that between 50 and 60 long form videos. That means they're an hour to an hour and a half, right? Well, 45 minutes to an hour and a half of me giving talks, if you will, right, through live streams of different qualities, different understandings that you need to become the best version of yourself. Okay, it's not about just for men. It's not about just for women. It's not about just for, older or younger, nothing like that. It's just humans. If you're a human, these things can help you to become a better version of yourself. Why? Because okay, my first video that I did basically when I started live streaming, which was December 22nd of last year, okay? When I did the first live, my very first video, what did I talk about? If you're OG over here on Twitch, if you're OG, then you know that the very first video I talked about was goal setting, right? Why did I talk about goal setting first? I talked about goal setting because what is the use of doing anything in this world if you don't have a goal, right? But what I didn't say, and this is what I should have said from the gate, what I didn't say is the fact that you have to know what you want to even set a goal. Let me give you a rifle shot. If you on my Twitch, excuse me, my TikTok, you probably can't hear that, but I'll give it to you anyway. I'll give it to you again. If you don't set a goal, this is for y'all now. If you don't set a goal, then what are you doing? Right? What are you doing? Because life, for you to keep progressing in life, is because of goals. Right? If you have no goals, you basically there's no reason to exist. I wish somebody can get in the chat and tell me one reason that you can exist if you don't have a goal. When you first were born, the very first thing you do is you come out and your goal is to survive. You know what I'm saying? As you get older, what you realize is ways to survive can look different, right? You can survive here or you can survive here, right? And this might not be called survival. This might be called thriving. So you have survival, base level, and you have thriving. Which one do you want? There it goes again. You still have to decide. You still have to decide which one you want. Because if you don't know what you want, you won't set a goal. How do you know you've achieved the goal if you don't even know what you want? Because the things that we do when we go to achieve a goal is still based on what we want the outcome to be. The outcome of that goal needs to equate to what we want. Is that making sense? Like it has to equate to what you want. Because if you don't have a what you want, then you have no reason to set a goal to get there. You'll have no reason to even execute a plan to be able to achieve the goal, which gets you closer to the want or the desire. That is the issue. And I don't think people see that. They don't really get that. The people who have crossed over and are really flourishing and they popping and they got all this and that and they running and everybody like, ooh, I want to be like them. Ooh, I want to be like them. Why do they say that? Why do they feel that way? Those people who some may say, oh, they went from they got it out the mud, right? If you say they got it out the mud, they had to have a dream, they had to have a want, they had to have a desire to even push them to do the work it took for them to thrive, right? It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But what can become easy is you can really compress that time from the initial thought to the execution and the now thriving in that thing if you know what you want. If you are only speaking what you want, right? Because every time that I'm talking to someone and they ask me, hey, what do you want to do? If I don't know what I want in that situation, the very first thing I'm going to say is, you know what? It doesn't matter to me, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because if I'm in a situation and let's say I have 4 different options, right? And in my brain, I've thought about it using my level decision framework, which you can find on the YouTube. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? All of these options are fine for me, right? So at that point, I don't have to necessarily make a decision, right? I don't have to because I've already decided that all of them work. All of them are basically equal in my eyes at this moment. So it doesn't matter to me. I'm okay with whatever decision that the group, if you will, wants to make, right? If I have to make it by myself, then I have to make a decision. Then I'm going to put the one that I feel like at that moment. Make sense? Okay, let's continue. My point here that I'm getting to is the fact that if I can say what I want in any given situation, then more than likely that's what's going to come back to me, right? Because I said what I wanted. You'd be hard pressed to say what you want and somebody hear that and what they give back to you is something that you don't want. If you tell somebody, hey, you know what? All right, I have an iPod case right here, right? iPod case. This is the iPod Pro 2s, okay? Not the newest ones, but still new nonetheless. Now, AirPod Pro 2s. If I have these AirPod Pro 2s and let's say that I said, you know what? I don't like AirPods, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I like the AirPod Pro 2s. That's what I want, right? I want that. But what I tell somebody else when they ask you, hey, what do you want for your birthday? And I say, I don't like the AirPod Pros. No, I don't like the AirPods, right? And you're like, oh, why you don't like the AirPods? Yeah, you know, those don't have noise cancellation or whatever. The AirPod Pro 2s do, but those don't, right? They're like, okay, so what another person hears is, okay, he doesn't like the AirPods. He wants one that has noise cancellation. Okay, but he never said that he wanted the AirPod Pro 2s. He just said he doesn't like AirPods, and he knows that the AirPod Pro 2s has noise cancellation. So that means that I can get any other headphones, right? I can get any other headphones for him because really the only thing he really wants is not AirPods, but noise cancellation. Because that's what another person hears, right? You didn't say what you wanted. If you said what you wanted, you said, I want the AirPod Pro 2s. If that's what you said that you wanted, then they'd be hard pressed to come bring you some other brand, right? Why would they do that? What would make somebody bring you something that you didn't ask for, right? This is what makes it easy for you to start achieving your goal. Because now what you're doing is only saying the things you want. If somebody asks you, I'm saying what I want. What I want is this. And I think a lot of times we're scared to say what we want because we don't want to be disappointed by not getting it, right? But do you know that the universe conspires on your behalf to give you the desires of your heart? Okay. Same scenario. Okay. Same scenario. Somebody said, hey, what do you want for your birthday? You say, you know what? I want the AirPod Pro 2s. They say, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, those are pretty nice. You know, why do you like them? Well, they got noise cancellation and it works pretty good. Oh, yeah, I heard it was good too. You know, how much is that? And you say, I don't know, somewhere like, maybe 160, $200, something like that. They say, oh, man, okay. I mean, that's a little out of my price range, but, you know, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They go off unbeknownst to you, unbeknownst to you, and they go talk to a couple different friends. Next thing you know, they got 4, 5 people that have put in $20 a piece, right? That means that they now only have to come out they pocket $60. Everybody else came out with a 20. That's $100 out of 5 people. Now they got to come out their pocket less than 100 for the remainder of it. And now birthday comes, you got what you wanted. Could it be that it is all so simple? Hit you with that Wu-Tang. So I'm just saying that happens in everything. If you take that same thought process and take that over to the world of relationships, it's the same thing, right? If you say that you want a person that is kind, a person that will love you, a person that will treat you right, a person that will, right? Like you say these things that you want and stick to them. Because if you say what you don't want, then it becomes a problem, right? Now, there is a thing called balance. Okay? There is a thing called balance. So, if you know what you want, cool. You do still need to know inside what you don't want. But that doesn't mean you have to voice what you don't want. That is recognition. I recognize that I don't want that, right? So when that comes up, I know to walk away from that. I know not to be drawn to that, even if some of the other characteristics that I want is there, right? Does that make sense? Like, if I know that I want someone who's kind, but what I see is someone that is not loyal, well, I know I don't want unloyalty, right? I know I want someone that is loyal. So if I see a characteristic that I don't like, then that means that's not the person for me, right? That's not my person. Just because they may have some of the other characteristics that I said I wanted, they have these other things that I don't want. So that's not the person for me. Knowing what you want makes this process easier. If you only want somebody to love you, you can go get a dog. You know what I'm saying? You can go get a dog for that. If you want somebody to be the center of attention and not really show you any love, go get a cat. There's a thing called balance. You know what I'm saying? There has to be balance. All of this, I'm trying to get across the fact that you have to say what you want. That should be your primary goal going forward at this point. In every conversation, in every thought, in every relationship, right? Anytime that anybody asks you questions and it references something that you may want or a desire of your heart, you have to know what those things are. Okay. That means that you need to go do some homework. What is the homework for today? The homework for today is for you to really sit down, right? Go somewhere where nobody else is around and you can just sit and think. Think about what you really want. Get a notebook, right? Get a notebook. You can get you a little flippy notebook like this, right? A little pad, little notepad. You can get you one of these for probably like what, 50 cents? It might be $1 now, maybe if you go to Dollar Tree, right? Or go to the TikTok shop. I don't know. I don't have, you know what? Affiliate links, not there. I don't have any affiliate links. Just go get you a pad, right? Go get you a pad and a pen. And I actually, if I could recommend any pen, I recommend the Sharpie gel pen. Okay, I love that pen. I have one somewhere around here. I have actually packs of them. Matter of fact, if you look over there on my oh, you might not be able to see. Oh yeah, you can see. Both of y'all can see. Okay, so cool. If you look right there, right on my Twitch, look right there. If you looking on TikTok, right there, right. I got a whole pack of them Sharpie gel pens. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I can show you. How about that? How about I show you? So that way you know I ain't lying. I'm tell you, I just want y'all to know that RichBz does not lie. I say what I want and I do what I say I'm gonna do. And that's what I want y'all to do. You know what I'm saying? Be a man or a woman of your word, right? Think about the things that are said to you. Think about the things that you want in your life. Think about the way that you want to show up. And then that's how you operate. Okay? So I'm saying that to say, let me show you these pens. So So if I had to recommend you any pens, these are the ones that I'm saying. Boom. This is why I said I had one, because see, one of them's missing out the pack, right? One of them's missing out the pack. So I have one somewhere. It's probably in my bag. But anytime I write using these pens. All except for when I'm streaming. Okay? When I'm streaming, I write with this pen. And it's not because I like how it writes. I like the shape of it. It's my heart pen, right? Because I'm trying to spread love to you guys. I'm trying to show you guys that I really care about the way that you show up in this world, and I want you to become the best version of yourself. Why? Because I'm on the same mission, right? I wasn't always the guy that you see before you right now. I wasn't always this, right? I didn't used to be like this, but now I am, right? It took a lot of work. It took mad years for me to get here. But it doesn't have to take you as long. Why? Because I'm coming back and I'm giving you free game. Free game, right? I'm telling you right now, head over to the YouTube, right? YouTube.com/ at the real rich bees. The real RealRich, B as in boy, Z as in zebra. All one word, okay? That's where you'll see all the videos, right? You have to go take a look at them. Why? Because it's going to give you so much value, right? It's going to give you so much value. That value will be added unto you for you to be able to show up in any given situation with references of how I can handle this situation in a way that I can get the best out of this for me, right? For you. That's the whole point. That's the whole point that I stream for, right? I stream because I want you guys to be able to show up as the best version of yourself. And I just want to be able to give you enough information and reference points that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did, right? Because I made a lot of them. I made a lot of mistakes. And so now, not saying I don't still make some mistakes, because sometimes you will. Such is life being a human. But that doesn't mean that you can't apologize. That doesn't mean that you can't come and still stand back up as the man or the woman and be back on the best version of yourself. Because if you fall as a child, you don't just fall down and then don't get up never again, right? What child does that? Child learns how to walk. Once they get up, they may take 1 or 2 steps and fall, right? That means they tried. Then they stood back up and they tried to walk again. Now they took 3, 4 steps and then they fell, right? They didn't just stop there though. They got back up and now they took 15, 20 steps. This time they might have not fell on their own. This time they might have tripped. Why? Because there's a change in the ground. The carpet changed. There may have been a step. There may be a step up or a step down, right? And they don't know how to handle that yet. And so they end up falling again. But they don't just lay there. They get up, brush themselves off, and they start walking again. So what makes us any better, right? Is it just because you're older? Just because you have more reference points in your head, more experiences? No, you're still the same. This is how humans learn, right? We try it. If it works, wonderful. But the chance of it continuing to work the first time is slim to none. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that you won't get better. It doesn't mean that you won't continue to be the best version of yourself. Just because you may have tripped once, just because you may have, the ground may have changed, the environment may look different, but you keep on getting up and keep trying again. That's how it all works. You know what I'm saying? That's how it all works. Hold on 1 second. Come on. I'm streaming live. Okay. You need the key. All right. So, people, this is what I'm saying. We have to be okay with not always doing everything right the first time. We have to be willing to say what we want, and we may have conversations, and in this next conversation you may say what you don't want. Immediately remember the fact I need to say what I want, and say what you want, right? Because if you continue to say what you want, you will be sure to get it. It's not on you to question how you're going to get what you want. That part doesn't even matter, right? That part, I promise you, that part doesn't matter how you're going to get it. Just because if you say, for instance, illustration purposes only, let's just say, no, it ain't illustration purpose because I do want all you guys to be this way. I want you all to be able to get $1,000,000. Okay. I want to get $1,000,000 right now, right? I want $1,000,000 in my bank account right now. Now, though I said that, I don't need to question how I'm going to get that. I don't need to question how that's going to show up. I just need to believe that what I've said I'm going to receive, right? So if I believe that I'm going to receive it, then it will be. When? I can't question that either. But what I can do is keep working towards the goal of what I said I wanted. That's the thing. This is the part that I feel like a lot of people keep missing. That if I say I want $1,000,000, I can't say that and then do nothing. I can't just kick my feet up. Oh, I said I want $1,000,000. I'm going to get this $1,000,000. No, because that doesn't show that you believe it, right? It doesn't show that you believe it if all you did was say it and then kick your feet up, right? How do you show that you believe it? By putting work toward it, by putting effort toward it, right? You got to put some effort toward it if you think that you're going to get it, if you believe that it's even possible. Now, that's the problem that I feel like a lot of people have, and that's what they deal with. They say they want these things, but they're not willing to do any work toward it, right? If you believe something, then you need to have some sort of effort, some sort of, yeah, effort that shows that you believe what you said. So if I say I want $1,000,000, what am I doing? What can I show as being evidence that I believe it? Right? Think about it like a court case. Right? Think about it like a court case. If somebody says that somebody's guilty of doing something, they have to show evidence, right? Evidence that that person did it because I believe that this person did it. If I believe that this person did it, then that means I have to show evidence why I believe that person did it. Okay? So if I believe I have $1,000,000, what is the evidence? Well, he works every day. Okay, that doesn't mean he has $1,000,000. No, it doesn't. But he started 2 companies. Okay, that gets me closer to believing that he might have $1,000,000 or that he believes he will have it soon. Okay, he made some albums, right? Okay, that there's some more evidence, right? Trending all in the right direction. Now, even with just those, I don't have to keep going for other things that I've done. I'm just saying just those. That already shows evidence that I believe that I'm going to have it, right? Remember what I told you. I don't have to worry about how it's going to come. I'm going to have it. How? It's not up to me. I'll let the universe, I'll let God sort that out, right? I'll let God sort that out. Me, it's on me to keep going, right? To keep going. When I keep going, all of my work, all of my efforts, right? Okay. Oh, let me throw this in there. Here's one of the ways that I can tell you that this is how I can show evidence that I believe that. Evidence that I believe that I don't go to the clubs, right? I'm not hanging out at the club. Evidence that I believe that uh um I'm working out and trying to stay healthy, right? I'm eating healthy and all of that. Why? Because if I'm going to have that, then I believe that I have to make it I have to stay alive long enough to get it, right? So every decision that I make is based on my desires and what I say I want. If I don't, if I align with what I've said, then that's going to require me to do certain things that if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't do those things. Why would I want to take on the stress of creating a business, creating a company, dealing with trying to get investors, dealing with building, doing dev work and development, right? Build coding and all that kind of stuff. Dealing with branding and all of that to try to make this product or this service, fit together. And why would I do all of that if I didn't believe I was going to get there? Because it'd be an exercise in futility if I didn't believe that I would be at a point, right? That I would reach the dream or the goal or my desire in the future. If I didn't believe that, then I wouldn't do that work. Why would I? It make no sense, right? All the work that you're doing should align with the goal that you're going for. Some things are a stepping stone to get closer to your dream. Not everything is a direct path to your dream. Sometimes you got to go to the left. Sometimes you got to go to the right, right? However, you're going to get to the goal. It's like a football team, right? You run a play. Every play doesn't mean touchdown. Every play is not a touchdown. Some plays get you 1 yard. Some plays get you 10 yards, right? Some plays get you to a first down. Some plays get you almost a first down. Some plays you get sacked and you fall back 10, 20 yards, right? Some plays you end up having to turn over the ball and then try to get it back so you can get towards your goal. This is life, right? Not everything's a straight line. It looks all jiggly and out of whack. It looks like all confusion, right? If you look at something like the Fibonacci sequence in a graphic, right, where it does like that with the squares if you look at that, like that's not just going from one point to this point, right? It's not going from this point to that point. That's not what the Fibonacci sequence does, even though it's so beautiful. It's the fact that it loops, right? It's looping on itself, right? Getting bigger before it finally spins out of orbit. If you really look at it, doesn't it look like a planet? Doesn't it look like how they shoot rockets off the planet? Horizontally, it wraps around the Earth and then it slings out, right? Fibonacci sequence doesn't require much energy, right? It makes sure that it's still going to get to the goal. But sometimes you got to go a little bit in a circle. Each time you're getting higher, you're building more, you're growing, you're getting further away from the gravity that's pulling you back down to being the nothing that you were before. You know what I'm saying? It takes work. It takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes drive. All of those videos you'll find on youtube.com/therealrichbz for your knowledge. So here's what I'm going to say. And this is where we're going to call it, right? This is what I'm going to say. As you keep going on in your life, I believe if you change this one aspect, right? Change this one aspect. Say what you want and put effort behind it. It will change your life. So this is Life Hack RichBz edition 101. Say what you want and put effort behind it. Okay? If you do that, I could almost promise you it'll change your life. You'll the landscape of your life will definitely change. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to be rich. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to get all that your heart desires. But what I am saying is it will definitely change your life. And you'll see immediate results the very next time you open your mouth and you say what you want versus what you don't want. All right. So with that being said, thank y'all for joining me today. I hope this information will help you. Make sure you tell a friend, follow your man's RichBz, the real RichBz on all of these, which is TikTok, Twitch, and the archive YouTube. All right. I'll see you guys on the next time. Make sure you love one another. You know what I'm saying? And always show up as the best version of yourself. All right. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, RichBz.